My mom taught me at a young age, and it's probably one of my biggest traits for leadership. You use your best friends more than your worst enemy. And, I'm using my worst enemy through this whole interview. But what she means by that, and what I take as a leader from that, is you got to listen. And not just the words that are spoken, but what's the message within the message. Because, as a leader, you tend to get thrown a lot of information. And it's not always positive. It's not sunny days being a leader. Run for chief, they said. It'll be fun, they said. And it's not. It's you have to endure a lot. So to be a great leader, you have to make sure that you let things pass you by. Don't hold things in. And this is a personal thing. And I learned this quickly. My first month of being a chief, I would come home and I would just like wow. Like I just, you have such a big heart. You have big feelings. Like everybody's human, but you just learn to let things pass you by and address it. But the thing is, when you let things pass you by, you still have to acknowledge it. You still have to address it. So what I do, what a good leader to me is you use your ears and you use consensus. You're not elected to be a boss. You're elected to lead the people by example, to show that you can work with people who are succeeding, and you could work with people who require assistance. And one great thing about being a chief in an Indigenous governance perspective is that the people want business. They want economic profit. They want jobs. They want good services. They want clean housing. They want good infrastructure. And you can't please everybody, because in order to be successful, your pie has to be pretty big. But in reality, your pie is 1/4 that. So you got to get creative on how you pie out your resources, your revenue. And so efficiency is big. Where can we do more with less? Number one, internally. Number two is, let's just not look at INAC, for example, from a funding perspective, and just think, okay, they're going to give us everything we want. We're going to go and beg them. It'll never happen. The government will always just give you enough money so you can't turn around and sue them for making you starve. It'll never really happen. So we have to get creative as leaders to find new ways to create revenue. And it's called economic profit. It's not just money. It's creating, the knowledge, the cunning of the white man, as they used at the signing of treaty, that Indigenous people will always adapt to the new ways. And 2017 now, an undergrad is pretty common in our economy. You need a master's now to really succeed. So we always have to adapt to that. And when I was in my master's degree, I was the only First Nations in my master's degree. And I was just, people in my class were like, how come there's no more? I was called cousins, my cousins. It's like, what, it's interesting. But, now I'm a recruiter for it, so I push them there. But back to what it's all about. It's about putting it all together as a chief, making sure that you use words that your audience will understand. So just because I got my master's doesn't mean I can just go home and just start using all my master's words. I go home and I'll put it together with my council through consensus. My council are my bosses, so I have to make sure that, we're all, we don't always all agree, but everybody has that chance to say something, to vote on it, and once we agree, we walk forward together. We put it together, give it to the people. If they say yes and give it back, then we move on it. If they say correct it, if they say no, then we have to go with consensus of our nation. And that's why Indigenous governance is different than your federal, your provincial, because they're more top-down. And Indigenous governance is you're a lot more consensus. So